All right, guys, Christmas is just around the corner. Have you done your Christmas gift shopping yet? I'm going to recommend a lot of great fragrances here, fragrances that I'm a fan of that are highly discounted. So if you're in the market to buy some fragrances at the best discounts, I've got some great recommendations for you. These are fragrances that I love and enjoy, and I've spoken quite a bit about them. And if you like my taste and you've been following me and you've been buying some of the recommendations, and perhaps you are needing some gift ideas that you are planning or potentially needing to buy for either yourself or for someone, this is the video for you. So stick around to watch my fragrance recommendations. And again, these are highly discounted currently, some almost 50% off. So really great prices. Don't buy suggested retail. Buy these fragrances. All the fragrances are tagged in YouTube. So each time I talk about a fragrance, you'll see it come up as I'm talking about it. And so you can go directly from there to buy the fragrances with the different discounter or retailer that I tag. So let's get started with the first fragrance. I should say we've got a nice collection of designers, niche, and also some cheapies that I'm going to recommend. So let's get started with the first one. Going to the house of Tom Ford, it's Noir Extreme Parfum. I really like this in comparison to the original. It's super concentrated. You really notice the concentration. Super potent and oily. It's basically a more intense take on the original. And it's a gourmand sweet amber fragrance with lots of spices. So you've got a creamy touch. You've got a vanillic tonka touch. Amber for sure. And there's the ginger and cardamom that stand out so much. Super delicious, really long lasting, intense, and a delicious, one of the best from Tom Ford in the signature line. And this is normally 100 ml for $300. It's now selling for $157 for this. So if you go to Neiman's or Macy's or something, yeah, sure, they might have a discount here and there, but it's usually 10, 15, at the most 20, if 20. And sometimes it's dollar off, like $25 off of $250 to $500. And so this is a great price and one of the best designers from Tom Ford. This is part of the signature line. This is Tom Ford's Noir Extreme. Highly recommended by me and totally great price for $157. Now this next one, I don't see this one selling anywhere suggested retail, so I don't have a suggested retail price for you. But this is definitely one of my favorites, and this is what started the Noir series. This is Tom Ford Noir. So we had Noir first, Noir in Eau de Toilette, then we had Noir Extreme, then we got Noir Anthracite, then we got Tom Ford's Noir Extreme Parfum. But Noir is clinging on. I think it's on its way out, and I highly recommend this one in your collection if you like masculine offerings from the Tom Ford house and ones that go kind of musky. This kind of gives me the idea of Habit Rouge a little bit, but in a more musky direction and also slightly sweeter. Although I should say Habit Rouge is already pretty sweet, so it's a bit more musky. Not identical, but it gives me that idea. But super powdery, intense, musky and animalic, but also super sexy and classy. Now, this is what started the series. Noir is awesome. It's 100 ml for $133. Again, I don't know the suggested retail price. This is probably not as expensive suggested retail as the Noir Extreme Parfum is. But this is a fragrance that you need to have in your collection if you are into more musky offerings, but super sexy and classy as well, as I said. Awesome, totally worth it. I don't think this is going to be around too long, just like Tom Ford's Tobacco Oud, which was clinging on for a while. I did find some recently somewhere, but I don't see any stock of Tom Ford's Tobacco Oud, and I think the Noir is also going to be out as well. So I don't have a suggested retail price on that one, as I said, but it's 100 ml for $130. Totally worth it for that. We're going to go to the house of SOSPIRO next. I've recommended two fragrances quite often from the house, Vibrato being one of them. Vibrato is currently featured in a Scent Club kit, but it is selling currently. The tester is $140 and full presentation is $170. This is normally selling for 100 ml for $326. So you are, like, if you buy the tester, you get more than 50% off, but it's a little under 50% off if you buy full presentation. But I love this for the grapefruit. It's a bit like Tiger, but more beefy and intense. Super sexy. Once again, it's got ambroxan and ambery woody notes in the dry down. But I love the zing and spice in here. There might be a little ginger in here as well. Tiger doesn't feature it, but I believe SOSPIRO does. But that zingy, spicy citrus that's mixed with the ambroxan is super sexy. So the tester is a great price. You don't need a full presentation, right? The presentation is pretty big. 140 for the tester is great, but 170 for the full presentation, which is normally 326. But then this one also, no tester available, also from the house of SOSPIRO. It's been my favorite, Dolce Melodia. I actually wore some the other day, and I remember how great this is. I love this. This is normally 326 for 100 ml. It's currently 175 at the discounter, so just a little bit more than the Vibrato. This is also much more deeper, but still freshness with fruitiness, ambery touches, spices, some floral notes, woods, and a super delicious and really, really intoxicating fragrance. And also, the SOSPIRO fragrances are super long-lasting, so they're totally worth having in your collection, especially at the discounted prices. So these are really, really great. I don't know how long these discounts will last for these fragrances, but if you're looking for something for yourself, and I've spoken about these fragrances quite often, and you haven't bought them yet, now's the time, because I don't know how long the discounts last. And, you know, with people buying things for Christmas, I'm sure these will run out. So that's Dolce Melodia. Let me know if you're familiar with that one. This is also a great fragrance from the house of NISHANE. It's Ani. You know, I was mentioning in another video, I think it's going to air tomorrow. Stay around for that. I mentioned in that video the Ani X, which is not here. I don't recall if it's here. That does remind me a little bit of Vibrato. I don't know if you guys get the connection with that. But for me, Nishane's Ani has ginger and cardamom. It's so good. I think ginger and cardamom is kind of the theme of this video so far. But no, Nishane's Ani is great with the vanilla and the sandalwood and the kind of lemony start with the ginger and cardamom. And of course, the vanilla. The price for this normally is $380 for 100 ml. It's $169 for 100 ml. So super awesome price. And one of the best from Nishane. It's not Hachivat. I don't talk a lot about Hachivat. I like it. But this is more my kind of fragrance. The warmth and the freshness and the spiciness and the woods together. Great, great fragrance. If you haven't tried Ani yet, highly recommend you try it. Definitely one of the best. As I said, the X version of this does remind me a little bit of Tiger, because I think she's boosted up, the Cecile Zarokin has boosted up the lemony touches. But the fact that it has those zingy spices, the ginger and the cardamom, kind of hints lightly at something like Tiger. But they're not the same, because Tiger doesn't have that vanilla overdose that Ani does. But a great price. $169 for 100 ml, normally $380 for 100 ml. And this is also a really great scent. This is DELPHINUS from Creed. I love how ambery, vanillic, nutty it is. Now this is currently 100 ml $278. Normally it's 100 ml for $560. So great, great price for this. I think Creed has been launching some great fragrances lately. And they launched Centaurus and DELPHINUS. I prefer DELPHINUS over Centaurus, because I like its coziness. The slightly cherry touches in here as well. I think it's the almonds that's creating it. Most likely there's some tonka in here as well. Centaurus was a bit more harsh and crisp and something not so enveloping. This has got that kind of enveloping, cozy vibe to it. Also, it's super sweet and powdery and nutty. Totally yum fragrance. I think it's created by Matthew Nardin. He did a great job on this one. I know Creed fragrances are super pricey, but yeah, you know, it's like reduced from $560 down to $278. So that's a super awesome price. Plus, it's got this beautiful orange colored bottle. Let me know if you're familiar with DELPHINUS. Super awesome, as I said. Really, really great fragrance. I love that. But this next one I've recommended quite a bit. It's currently 100 ml for $130. Normally, it's 100 ml for $285. This is For Your Love from the house of MIZENSIR. Super sexy fragrance, musky and ambery. It also has some light fruitiness, and it has patchouli as an earthy note as well. But It does hint a little bit at Baccarat Rouge. I think the fruitiness and the patchouli kind of take it into a different direction. But it's that kind of fragrance. I love its muskiness, its sexiness, its intensity and longevity. And I like it in various occasions. This one is kind of like an all year round fragrance if you want that kind of muskiness. But as I said, this one's different than Baccarat Rouge, but I think it's a similar idea. They wear differently. And again, I like that contrast of the fruitiness from the raspberry. This also has patchouli, as I said, and I think it also has benzoin, so it's got ambery effects in the dry down. So earthy, patchouli, you know, you've got amber and musky notes, and the fruitiness together is super intoxicating. For Your Love from the House of MIZENSIR. I know I'm at the bottom of the bottle, but I did a MIZENSIR video recently, and I actually bought a couple of fragrances from MIZENSIR, and I also bought an update of this, so I'll talk about those very soon. But that is, as I said, currently 100 ml for $130. Really great price. Normally it's $285 for 100 ml. But this next fragrance is from ROJA PARFUMS. It's 100 ml for $169 at the discounter. Normally it's 100 ml for $380. It's Apex. And what I like about Apex is the old school qualities and a beefed up version or take on something like Halston Z14. Are you guys familiar with that? Yeah, that's a cheapie, but it also smells not the best. But Apex gives me the Halston Z14 idea. It gives me the Tom Ford Italian Cypress idea, but in a much more luxurious way. Really love this DNA. It's kind of aromatic, spicy. It's a Chypre. It's an old school style Chypre style fragrance with, you know, aromatics and spices, maybe some mossy notes thrown in there. So it's super spicy and maybe a bit leathery as well. But really love this DNA. It brings back memories of when my dad and my uncle were wearing Halston Z14. I was obsessed with that bottle. It was a beautiful bottle, and the smell was so distinct. And so this one does remind me of that. So it's currently $169, 100 ml. Normally it's $380 for 100 ml. So if you like some old school style fragrances, that one's totally worth it for you to have. But this next fragrance is from the house of MANCERA. It's Tonka Cola. Normally, it's $200 for 100 ml. It's $85. I'm sorry. Normally, it's $200 for 120 ml. It's $85 for 120 ml. A great price for this. It's a Tonka Cherry Cola Gourmand. So it's got cherry touches, fizzy cola touches, and lots of kind of nutty, bitter, almondy like Tonka touches. So it's a idea of cola, but with an overdose of Tonka and, you know, like cherries thrown in there. Like the old days, they used to put cherries inside Coca-Cola, things like that. But it's super, you know, like super fizzy and effervescent. And also the Tonka beans are in your face and fizzy. But a great gourmand, one of the best, I think, from MANCERA. I've really fallen in love with this one. I enjoyed quite a bit. And it's very unique. And also, it gives you a holiday vibe because it's got cinnamony touches in here, lots of cinnamon. So in the end, it's very warm, spicy, fizzy, fruity, and nutty. So that's Tonka Cola from the house of MANCERA. That is currently $85 for 120 ml. Normally, it's $200. I've got prices listed here so I don't forget because I'll totally forget the prices because numbers are the worst for me. I can't keep them in my mind. But fragrances and their notes and their, you know, what they smell like and all that good stuff, I remember, but numbers I'm not good at. So the next fragrance, we're talking about AMOUAGE's Jubilation 40. It's an X-rated parfum. Normally this is $550 or $530 for 100 ml. It's $339 for 100 ml. Yeah, it's quite pricey. This is super pricey, but this definitely, they took it to the next level with its intensity. It's the same fragrance, just amplified, but also given it kind of a piney camphor eucalyptus treatment, which I quite like. So it's ambery, but it's got these kind of green aromatic notes in there, but a bit minty, menthol, kind of piney, eucalyptusy overdose. But the patchouli is super strong. In fact, I think the patchouli has even gotten stronger since when I first tested that fragrance out. It's super intense. And the original is known for that as well. But I think they did a great job with the creation of this fragrance. And the exceptional extracts for AMOUAGE, they actually do this maceration maturation thing, But I think if you keep the fragrance and let it age and maturate and macerate further, it even intensifies further, I think. But overall, this is a great scent. One of the best from Bertrand de Chafour, and one of my favorites from the exceptional Extrait. So that's Jubilation 40 from AMOUAGE. And it's currently 100 ml for $339, normally 100 ml for $550. Next, going to the house of Thomas KOSMALA. It's number 4, Après l'Amour, 100 ml for $90. This is a really, really great one because normally this is 100 ml for $235. So you've got more than 50% off on this. And it's a super sexy, musky fragrance. Super dry, woody, powdery, dusty, ambery, a little salty, kind of marine, because they're overdosing with a lot of ambroxan type notes, amber woody notes. And it's super strong, like really bottom heavy, base heavy, because it's a lot of base notes here. But super long lasting. And these two fragrances might be similar, the For Your Love and the Après l'Amour. No, they're not. They're, I guess, similar ideas, but they smell so different. So different. To me, the Thomas KOSMALA reminds me of the amber woods and ambroxan in vanilla powder without the vanilla. So if you know what vanilla powder smells like, if you remove the vanilla, whatever's left there is what you get with number 4 Après l'Amour. It's super strong, by the way. Really, really intense. You can actually use that to layer with vanilla powder to intensify the amber woods notes, the ambroxan notes, and to tone down the vanilla. But it's $90 for 100 ml. Normally it's $235 for 100 ml. And then we've got one more niche fragrance, and I'm going to designers and some cheap niche fragrances. Cheaper, less expensive fragrances. The next one is Rosendo Mateu's number 5. It's a 100 ml for $125. At the discounters, it's normally $225 for 100 ml, so it's $100 off. Not quite 50%, but still really great. And this does smell a little bit like Baby Cat, you know? It does. Baby Cat, Havana Gloria. It's that kind of a fragrance, but it's the one that came before all of those. And I didn't get the connection because I wasn't smelling them together. And finally, when I did, I was like, yeah, this is totally like Baby Cat, but it's different, you know? It's not identical. This one, I think, doesn't have as much leather. The new extract of this does. This is more vanilla, ambery notes and spices and smoky, incensey kind of notes. But it's a really, really great scent. 100 ml for $125. Normally 100 ml for $225, as I said. Totally worth to have in your collection, and also great gift giving ideas, and not spending, you know, full retail for the fragrances and going inexpensive. So let's talk a little bit more about even cheaper fragrances. So I've got 2 cheapies, and then going to designers I'm going to talk to you about. Oh, I got something wrong here. Well, let's talk about this first. So this is ROJA Moustache. So ROJA Moustache is a great fragrance that will remind you of Tuxedo from YSL. If you're a fan of Tuxedo and you think it's way too expensive, you've only worn samples or decants, this is a great alternative to have, and it's only 125 ml for $37. So super cheap. Really, really inexpensive. So it comes in a bottle like this. It's also 125 ml, although the Tuxedo is also 125 ml. But that fragrance, I think it's like $300. This is only $37. So you've got woods, spices, ozonic notes, and I think patchouli in this. But a really great designer fragrance that is very similar to Tuxedo. I do enjoy Tuxedo quite a bit, but this is a great alternative. Much cheaper than what Tuxedo sells for. So that's Moustache. But just keep in mind, guys, there is an eau de toilette version of this that smells nothing like this. So be warned, get the EDP. Eau de Parfum is what you have to look for. The EDT is so different. It's an old school fragrance. It's like an old school men's citrus chypre fragrance. This is totally different. So go for the EDP, not the EDT. Unless you like the old school vibes, go with the EDT, but I don't think you're going to find the EDT for this low of a price. So that's that. And then the next fragrance I'm going to talk about is from the house of Arabian. It's SHAGHAF Oud AZRAQ. This is a honeyed, oudy kind of fragrance. Reminds me a little bit of Oud Honey from Montal. But honestly, this is a lot honeyed, a lot more honeyed than Montal's Oud Honey. This is also super thick and dense, intense and spicy, but I enjoy this one more than Montal's Honey Oud, or is it Oud Honey? Because Florist also has Honey Oud, but they don't smell alike, the three of them. This to me reminds me more of the Montal, but super more potent and also very honeyed in comparison to the Montal. Because Montal, even though it's called Oud Honey, I don't get a lot of honey from it. I get more oud and spices and woods with a touch of honey. This to me, the honey is more alive and in your face, and it smells awesome. So I don't have the normal suggested retail price for this, just like the ROJA, but it's 75 ml for $33. So good, the price. Really, really great. So check that out. SHAGHAF Oud AZRAQ from Swiss Arabian. Really love that one. I like its potency. And then finally, I'm going to talk to you about three of my favorite men's designer fragrances from around 10 or so years ago. I think they're still great, and I want to highlight them for you guys. Most importantly, this Dior Homme Intense. Dior Homme Intense is probably the best alternative to Dior Homme Parfum now that Francis Kurkdjian changed it. So this is basically the original DNA. Well, it started with Dior Homme, then it went to Dior Homme Intense, then it went to Dior Homme Parfum. And in 2025, Francis changed the DNA completely, so it smells nothing like the original Dior Homme and the Dior Homme Intense. But they still have this out there. Get it now. This is a 150 ml bottle for $149. So that's a pretty good price for this. And you get that kind of iris, powdery, musky, aromatic, spicy, lipsticky kind of fragrance. Really, really love this DNA. It's so awesome. We can't get Dior Homme Parfum now, but you can get this. And some of you don't really enjoy Dior Homme Parfum because it is too strong. Maybe because this has a bit more freshness. I prefer Dior Homme Parfum, but I'm happy with the fact that this still smells like the DNA that I'm familiar with, that at one time was Dior Homme Intense. Then they thickened it and made it much more intense with the Parfum edition. But really awesome fragrance. The DNA it's all about the DNA. I love it. It smells so good. So that's Dior Homme Intense from the house of Dior. 150 ml bottle for $149. So a great price for that. They don't sell those in like normal stores. It's mostly online at discounters and places like that. And then we've got Dior's Fahrenheit Parfum. 75 ml for $119 for this one. That's the best deal I found on it. And this is basically taking the original Fahrenheit into a more ozonic, but also vanillic, boozy, licorice anise direction with leather as well. They did a great job on this. It smells super awesome because the original Fahrenheit is so thinned out. And they went in a different direction where they gave it some like sweet gourmand twist to it. But the ozonic violet leaves note in this is making it kind of fresh, not super thick and sugary and sweet and vanillic. So 75 ml for $119 for this. If you like the original DNA, but you want it to be much more modern, definitely check that out. So that is Fahrenheit Parfum from the house of Dior. Really super awesome. These three Dior Parfum fragrances are some of the best. And I think they're the ones that started the Parfums. And now we've got elixirs and absolutes and extraits and all these things. And then finally, it's SAUVAGE Parfum, 100 ml for $129. And this is basically taking the original fresh fragrance into an ambery resinous direction. Sure, it's not the 2012 edition. This is the 2017 version. So they changed the myrrh. They took the myrrh out and added elemi resin, but still ambery. It's resinous and it's got freshness and it's got woods and grassy notes as well. Vetiver, bergamot, and elemi are the notes that they highlight. But you know that you've got some light traces of flowers and things like that. But for me, it's super spicy. It's a denser take on the original SAUVAGE. Really, I love this fragrance. Really love it. So that's SAUVAGE Parfum. And that is 100 ml for $129. So there you have it. Fragrance suggestions for gift giving. Some of my favorite fragrances. gifts for yourself or gifts for your loved ones. Let me know your thoughts on these fragrances. Are you a fan? I'm sure you are if you are following this channel. But wanted to get this video out there for you guys in case you're looking for some suggestions and you haven't found any. But either way, guys, thanks so much for watching today. If you have any questions or comments, list below. Please like the video, share it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Click that bell icon as well, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. And tomorrow, I've got a really long, super long deep dive video. It's a surprise one. It will feature the it'll feature the SAUVAGE Parfum in it. It'll feature the Fahrenheit Parfum in it. And instead of the DIOR Homme Intense, I had the DIOR Homme Parfum in it. But stay tuned for that. It's 3 hours plus, and it's going to be a great one. Thank you. Bye-bye.